Hey, good evening, WTF Nation Radio. It is the Sports Bar live Sunday, December the 3rd. I have my main man, Coach, and myself, the actual King Smith, on as your lovely host today, talking all good things sports and life. Coach, let the people know something.
What do you hear? What do you say? You know, just after everything that's happened this past weekend in football, I got to crack one open. Oh, man, we got a lot to discuss, a lot to debate about. And my God, I am going to bring it to you today, my friend. How you been doing?
Hey, brother, I'm doing all right, man. I had a fantastic weekend this weekend. My father, who was a almost say U.S. Air Force. Hold on. My dad, who was a U.S. Army
Don't
veteran.
insult him. Yeah, don't insult him like that.
My dad, who was a U.S. Army veteran, turned 65 today as it is his 65th birthday. So, Dad, if you are watching again, happy birthday, old man.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Oh, wait, I can't call him sir because he worked for 11.
Oh, man.
Unlike your son going into the frickin' Air Force. I don't know what the hell's wrong with him.
Hey, man, blame him. He told me that if I were to go into the military after I graduated high school, it was two choices. He said it was the U.S. Navy or the Air Force, as he had an older sister who went into the Air Force, and he saw the differences in quality of life, I should say, between him and his sister.
All right, I'm not going to lie either. And me and a buddy of mine whose name is the same as mine, too, another coach in Illinois. So me and this other coach, we both agreed with what our kids should be doing. And at least his son is going to do it. I don't care if my son does it. I don't want him to. But I would say, yes, if I had to do it again, I'd go to the fucking Coast Guard.
What about the Space Force?
Don't hate. None of us would say, no, nobody wants to be around the Space Force. No. Come on now. All right, let's just be honest around here about the Space Force, okay? You know, I've been holding back about this one for a while. And Ice, if you're listening, yes, I am about to become Coach Uranus. All right, we're talking about the Space Force. We're worried about what's going on in the outer atmosphere, like America owns outer fucking space, okay? The first thing we would do if we owned outer space is put fucking billboards up for the aliens. Let's be quite honest, okay? And the next thing, we're not going out there to look at the stars or build a freaking, a Star Trek, we're not going to be building enterprises, and we're not going to be, sending fleets out to, God knows where they are over in this Space Force. The luckiest thing is we're going to be looking at a long stick to show the light so while we stare at Uranus every freaking evening. That's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be staring at Uranus because that's what the U.S. government and the U.S. military is best at doing, staring at Uranus. At MEPS, what was the best part about being around? That old guy staring at Uranus. Girls, I know you had some old woman staring at Uranus too when you were at MEPS. All right, and let's be quite honest. Serving in the United States Army, the United States Marine Corps, the United States Navy, and quite possibly the United States Air Force, the majority of the time, the productivity that you had was as productive as staring at another anus. So you were basically doing the same thing. Now the Space Force has just made it into a branch of looking at a tube and staring at Uranus while ensuring that the most American thing that we can do is we can say we own all the outer space outside of the United States, and we're going to put up a fucking rest stop on the way over there, okay? That's exactly what we're gonna do. And guess what? The first fucking restaurant in outer space, because we are Americans, gonna be a goddamn Waffle House.
Hey, that'd be the first restaurant that I'd put up in space, is a Waffle House. Just Oh, hold on. I realized something. My microphone actually isn't the correct microphone. Let's change that. All right. So now
Jesus.
hear me and my audio sound effects. 1 second.
Oh yes.
Hey, there we go. All right, fixing things on the fly here. So, Coach,
Hold
before
on.
we get into
Uh,
today's show, we have to let the people know we are only two of the sexiest hosts here at WTF Nation Radio, but there are other shows on other nights of the week. You have the floor. Let the people know what else WTF Nation Radio offers before we get into our program for today.
And ladies and gentlemen, just like dude, I'm echoing pretty bad right now.
Okay.
Can you hear that?
Nope, I don't hear the echo on my side. If y'all hear it,
Okay, hold on. Let me see it if I hear it again. Nope, I don't hear it. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, just like your mom's Uranus, we come to you 6 nights a week on U.S. Army WTF Moments and WTF Nation Radio across Facebook, YouTube, Kick, and X. And we start off every Sunday at 8 p.m. with us on the Sports Bar every Sunday, bringing it to you live about the greatest and trending topics in the world of sports while we stare at Carrie Underwood's legs and she introduces us to Sunday Night Football. On Monday, Ice is not going to be in, and I hate to say this, we are not going to see Ice until the new year. So that means on Monday and on Thursday, we will not be seeing the Monday edition or Sergeant's Time, which means the next time that we, and by the way, everybody, just so you all know, if you're watching, there has been questions about how Ice is doing. Just want to let you all know that Ice has had a family member that passed away. So we send his prayers and condolences to him. He also just had a medical procedure done, and he is recovering pretty well from it. So he's got some groovy drugs, and hopefully by the time that he is done, they will find the female, name for Ice, and he'll be showing off his fancy new vagina for everybody come the new year. So hope that operation went well for you, Ice, and we love you and hope for the best of recovery. But he will not be coming to you Mondays or Thursdays until the new year, which means that on Thursdays or Tuesday will be Pop Culture Radio with our boy CQ and Mad Mike. And Mad Mike, let's be quite honest with you, if he would have remembered a Marine, it would have definitely left an impact. But the thing was, is that you ate all the crayons as evidence, so he didn't remember anything whatsoever. But they're going to let it and talk to you about the greatest of pop culture. And I can't pull it up on here, but King, if you don't mind, can you tell me who the graphic is for that's coming up here on Tuesday for Pop Culture Warrior that was just shared in the ops chat? Because I can't pull it up right now. Or are you taking a dump?
Nope, I'm here.
Oh,
Let me
he's
bring
taking
it
a
up
dump,
here
ladies
real
and
quick.
gentlemen. Yeah, I couldn't,
Wait, can you
I
hear me?
couldn't get that through. I'm sorry, man. Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. So we have that's not it.
Yeah, Warhol
Oh, there
just
we go.
posted that. No, I got him. I got him.
Hey,
This
it's
guy,
Jason
what's his name? Jason.
Nardi, actor.
Yep, he looks like he does a lot of the stuff. Oh, he's with the Power Rangers. I know he's done a couple things with that. So, all right, awesome. So we got Jason Narvi coming up here on Tuesday over on Pop Culture Warrior, and then TZ and Radar. Aren't didn't they also announce that they are going to be waiting until the new year as well for their next shows? Am I right?
I believe so. Yep.
I believe so. So guess what? No smoke pits. And this thing keeps going on and on and on. And hey, Jeremy Daniels. And and Michelle Early. So we're just gonna keep growing and keep rolling with this one. But no smoke pit either on Wednesday. But I don't get paid this week. That means I got paid 2 days ago. Oh, which means that this upcoming Friday, dun dun dun. Cousin Pookie will be back on the air with Friday Night Freedom, and there's going to be a whole shit ton of stuff to talk about because there's not going to be any Monday edition Smoke Pit or Sergeant's Time this week. So we're just going to go straight from Pop Culture Warrior over to Friday Night Freedom and let Cousin Pookie wrap up the week for you on WTF Nation Radio and U.S. Army WTF Moments across Facebook, YouTube, X, and Kick. Back to you, King.
Hey, I do want to announce a couple of different things on the heels of that before we get into our show. So this month for a lot of different people has been a fairly interesting month with people that I know directly or indirectly. Look, these are trying times, right? If you have people around you that you love, lean into them. Do not lean away from them. If you have any screenings that you have coming up or that you need to get screened, y'all get your screenings. You did say that you had alluded to the smoke pit. Yeah, so the smoke pit's gonna not have a
Oh yeah.
show until the 10th of January. All right. And then we're unsure as to when Boss Man Ice will be back on the air as he is dealing with
It'll be New Year.
various things as well. So hey, let's carry the WTF mantle along with Pop Culture Warrior and the Friday show
And
so
yep.
that we make sure that we give our viewers and listeners edutainment throughout this next upcoming month. We're gonna have the show.
and and King, if there is one thing our show is about, we are not possible. We do not have a show without balls. So make sure your balls are okay, ladies and gentlemen, because without balls, we don't have a sports show. Because without balls, there are no sports.
And also just to give the people the announcement of our programming, we're only going to be live. We got this Sunday, we're going to be live the 10th and the 17th. And
Yep.
the actually no, just today and the 10th. I don't believe there's going to be a sports show on the 17th. I have to take a look at the schedule, but WTF Nation Radio takes a 2-week break
If yeah,
between that Christmas.
we well, actually, that was something that we haven't discussed, but we might as well discuss it on air. I mean, we ain't a problem on that, but that was the thing that I wanted to talk about. Like that last day, I think we should try to get all available hosts on and do like a Christmas party kind
Let's
of
do it.
sports bar type of thing, man. So I say we do the 17th as well, but we invite every single host from WTF Nation Radio onto the sports bar for the sports bar's Christmas party.
Absolutely. I would.
You got. Let's have a Christmas party at the sports bar. Let's do it, man.
Yep, I'd be game for that 100%. Now, let's get into the show. We have a couple people in the chat I want to acknowledge. Michelle earlier over on Facebook said, "Good evening. Shout out to you." My man Jeremy Daniels over on Facebook as well said, "Present." Hey, Jeremy Daniels, I give you a salute. I appreciate you for tuning in. If there's a like button on your platform, y'all, do me a favor, mash that like button as it helps us out on the algorithms. Let's get started. Let's get into the show. We're going to kick it off
Let's do it.
with sports trivia. Today's sports trivia is going to be really easy. I went and got a softball question that's going to have a softball answer. And this was kind of inspired by a student in my lady's classroom. So the sports trivia question is as follows. I'm going to read it. I'm going to give y'all about 15 seconds, read it again, and then look for the answer. What two NFL teams have won the most Super Bowls with 6 wins each? Again, what two NFL teams have won the most Super Bowls with 6 wins each? I'm going to give y'all time to type that into the chat. Coach, I'm going to give you time to put that in the back room. There's about a 6-second delay between the live and when I actually read the question. So I want to give folks in the audience some time to put it in as well. Coach has put in his answer. He has locked it in. He also gave a nice little statement before he gave his answer. All right, and let's check into the comments. Michelle early said, "I can't believe you did this question." She knows why I said that. And hey, look, it was a question that was inspired by one of your students. And hey, he had a point. He had a point. And one of those two teams, Michelle knows that she has said that they lost today. Yep. Michelle, can you name what the other team is? And I'm going to read the question one more time. And then we're going to reveal the answer. So the question was, which two NFL teams have won the most Super Bowls with 6 wins each? All right. Enough time has passed. Coach in the back room said, Bama sucks. Oops. I mean, the Patriots and the Steelers. And coach would be correct. The answer to today's question, it was a softball one. The Pittsburgh Steelers and the New England Patriots, two teams that when you look at their season this year, you're like, those are champion type teams. They look like trash today, but historically, they both are tied with 6 Super Bowl wins each. Who comes uh after them two teams, coach? Yeah.
So five, that is the Dallas Cowboys, and I think they're alone at five, unless Green Bay's only got four.
Yep, yep.
So yeah. Yep. So Dallas Cowboys at five, and then you have the Giants, Green Bay, and I think you might have one more at four that I am not remembering, and then you got a slew of people at three.
Oh,
But the Giants, what's
I've
that?
got a correction. The
Oh,
the Cowboys are tied at 5 with one other team,
five,
the
49ers.
49ers. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's the team I was missing. I was trying to go back to that 90s era, and then I'm like 80s, 80s, and then I got onto the Giants winning a Super Bowl there, and that was one of the four. But then that was that five. Yep, San Francisco with five.
Yep, yep. Carol, why do you want to cancel our show, man? Come on, man. Don't cancel us. Don't cancel us.
Okay, no, Carolyn, go right ahead. Cancel us, please. It's not a problem whatsoever. In fact, I invite you to come on in here and please explain why you would like to cancel a sports show on a military and veteran run broadcasting network. Please, 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 please tell me.
Yeah.
Come on. Oh, thank you, Chad. Yes, I agree with you. We'll get to that later.
But yes, the Super Bowl uh is tied shared with the Patriots and Steelers at 6 apiece, and tied right after them are the 49ers and Cowboys. If you ask 49ers fans, especially after that win today in which they manhandled the Eagles, the 49ers might
Mm-hmm.
be able to leapfrog and go up there with that 8th appearance and a 6th win. Coach, what say you?
I will say that today's game, yeah, I did look at it and complete blowout out of there. But now you're looking at they're having a collision course. It's looking like between the number one and the number two seeds in the NFC. If you put them down out there, it's going to be the third time meeting. I'm pretty sure Philly's going to go ahead and remember that this drubbing, adjust against to it, and it's going to be a hell of a lot more competitive. But I still see Philly getting out of the NFC. And but San Fran, man, they whipped their ass tonight. Debo, my man, Debo. Oh yeah, my man. He tore them up today.
Oh, absolutely.
Rod, Rod. Let's not. We'll talk about the Ravens later.
Hey, look, they've got Super Bowl wins, but they wasn't on the list of 3 or
Yeah,
above. They've only got 2 of them, I believe.
yeah, they do. Yeah, that's all they have right now.
And it is what it is. I'm a temporary Ravens fan. I only came on board because I got tired of supporting the Atlanta Falcons. But that's another story. Let's show a clip that I thought was really damn dope. This is a clip of 39-year-old LeBron James doing something eerily similar to 39-year-old Vince Carter. And this is just something that only athletes can do. Let's take a look.
Well, here's the oldest guy in the league right here, spinning underneath. Oh! And score. Vince, pretty spin move. 360 spin move, Vince! You gotta be kidding me!
360 spin move as a 39-year-old layup where it goes in, and it looked eerily similar to Vince Carter at the same age. Now, let me tell you, I'm not a superstar athlete. All right. That's obvious. But to see somebody at the same age as me do that, I got more power to him. If I were to try and do a 360 anything, I'm breaking a kneecap, a shoulder, I might knock out a tooth. Um, so to have LeBron James come out and do what he does uh at the almost age of 40 is fantastic. I consider LeBron as the greatest NBA player of all time. I know we've had this debate. I just don't see how you don't put him up there as the GOAT in front of MJ. Do you remember us talking about this, coach? Coach, if you can hear me, I can't hear you. Let me type in the back. I can't hear you, man. Can y'all hear me? Yikes. All right. It looks like y'all can hear me. So until coach had to dip out. All right. So he's going to come back in. While he comes back in, Rod called me a bandwagoner. Yes, I am. All right. I see that coach is back. Let me bring him up. Hey, coach, Mike check. Can you hear me? Man. All right. Still got to get coach to fix his audio. I don't see your audio moving, man. But yes, I am a bandwagoner, 100% a bandwagoner. I also live in Maryland, right? So I told myself if I was going to support an NFL team, I'd rather at least support a team that's close to me. The Ravens are the closest to me. I just can't get down with the Commanders at all. But the Ravens, at least, are known for playing good football. So that's why I decided to jump on with them. So coach is looking at fixing his audio. Let me get to the next thing that I have prepped while he's looking for his audio. I heard an interesting take. Hold up, here we go. All right. Hey,
Motherfucking
coach, are you
computer.
back? Hey, I can hear you.
Hey, so that guy over there, yeah, just put him over there. Make sure you bury him about halfway up, and then leave the cement for the rest of it. I want to leave him from the neck up there, so he can't.
Hey,
Fuck,
is
I'm
this
on live. I'm on live. All right, shut up, shut up. Hey, abort, abort. I'll see you at Geno's. Hey, what's going on, man?
is this Don coach over here?
Oh, oh, oh. There's no such thing as the mafia.
So coach, the next thing or next segment that I wanted to get into, you've known a couple of pro athletes and you have an understanding of their lifestyle.
A little,
Mm,
yeah.
But actually, before we get into that, we do have kickoff of the Chiefs Packers game. Carrie Underwood's likely already showed her legs. This game is a game that is being
That's
played
why I
in
was on mute.
ah this game is being played in Green Bay. Vegas has Kansas City favored to win by 5.5 points. The total over under is 43.5. The weather looks to be decent, although it is really cold right now. 29 degrees in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Coach, who do you have winning this game? I'm choosing the
Oh,
Kansas City Chiefs.
I don't know, but I always love the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. Ooh,
Have you ever been
I
to that
always
field
live.
before?
No, but if I want to go, I want to go in a game in December, like late December or January. I want it to be like, if my balls sat right on the bleachers, that my balls would be frozen, stuck on the bleachers, kind of cold. You know what I'm talking about, right? That's when I want to go see it. But yeah, but up in the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field, Chiefs. But I see this game actually being competitive and Jordan Love having a good game tonight.
Yeah, I actually think it's going to be competitive. I believe it's actually going to hit the over of 43.5. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to this being a pretty good game. But
Yeah.
I don't have the game up. So I'm going to need for you to keep me up to date with the scores and highlights.
All right, no problem out there. But right now, Green Bay has the ball. They're running it, another first down, and Jordan Love and Dylan look like they're getting a good 1-2 punch and moving the ball down the field. They're just crossing midfield now.
All right. Now, coach, you've known a couple of pro athletes in various sports. What can you tell me about pro athletes and their dating life?
Well, I can tell you that there are a slew of women, and like I say, this is like a 0.001% of women. So please don't let me make this as a blanket statement, but there is a 0.001% of woman that will latch onto you at almost any type of bit with any type of notoriety. And I hate to say this because I'm now quoting the sermon that I went to today at church, but proximity to power is power. And a proximity to somebody who believe you have power or influence, such as somebody with money or a professional athlete whom in their own right is a celebrity, then you by proxy have power. And that's what everybody in the world wants to have. And there's 0.01% of women that just want to be around that. Those are the gold diggers. We only see them as that, but we glorify them, especially when they make great decisions on behalf of the athletes that do nothing but ruin them. Am I correct, King?
Absolutely. I mean, we see these articles and we talk about it all the time. And look, I'm not going to say it's just the male athletes that are struggling out there, but I think that women athletes have a hard time as well because there's a combination of status and then there's a combination of status and money. Now, I'm going to show a clip and I believe I can play this without being zucked. So I'm going to hit the fair use on this one. All right. But I have a clip of NBA champion Aaron Gordon on somebody's podcast, and there's a snippet and a segment in which he talked about going out on a date and just listen to what Aaron Gordon said as he was sitting down waiting to be seated with his date.
Guys in our position, it's hard. Like once you have what you have and you are who you are, to meet a female who you can like trust and who you.
Man, check this out.
But look, he be going overseas, and he told me you got to go find one overseas.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna pause right there. I have to pause this, y'all, because of fair use. I don't want to get zucked, but the guy on the right in the hat, and apologies, I'm not sure what his name is, but he's talking to Aaron Gordon, and he looks like he's a no. Actually, this is Michael Porter. They're teammates. All right.
Mhm.
So Michael Porter is asking him about dating, and just before this, he talked about does he plan on ever getting married? And when Michael Porter asked, he kind of laughed, and Gordon laughed as well because Aaron Gordon is like, well, yeah, like I think that you can find somebody that can bring value to you and things like that. And then right after that, Aaron Gordon is going to tell this crazy dating story. But before he even gets into it, there's been this trend called the passport bros. Have you heard of it, coach?
No, I have not.
Well, I won't get into it, but it's been a controversial thing as well. But it's basically
Oh, and just to let you know, Tranquil is out right now with the concussion protocol. He got kneed in the head on a slide and got kneed right by Dylan. So they had to come back, and now it's 2nd and 5 on the Green Bay 29-yard line. Or
okay.
excuse me, Kansas City 29-yard line.
All right. What was I at? Oh, the passport.
Oh yeah, yeah, the passport. Yeah.
So the passport bros is essentially it's a movement in chat. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. There's different variation of what people think that a passport bro is, but it's a movement in which men are saying that they're tired of dating in the U.S., trying to find themselves a good woman or a wife. So they go overseas to various countries where they're saying women are more feminine and treat them a lot better. So Michael Porter even says that. Watch, I'm going to go back and play it again.
To meet a female who you can like trust and who you.
Man, check this out.
But look, he be going overseas, and he told me you got to go find one overseas.
Yeah.
So he said it right there. You got to go overseas to find yourself a good woman. Now, Brittany is going to talk about what we're going to get into next. So, Brittany, I'm going to star this. All right. I'm going to star this. Bear with me. We haven't gotten to that section just yet, but I am going to bring up your comment when we get into our next segment. But let's finish out this segment.
Yeah, they know football over there, you know what I mean? They know soccer players, they don't really know basketball players like that. Like, check this out. I went on a date with this girl one time. I forget where we were going. Where was it at? Might have been in like Chicago or something like that. We went on a date. I got to the spot, right? We were just sitting at the bar, waiting for our table, getting drinks, whatever. She opened up her phone. The last thing she had on her phone was Aaron Gordon's net worth.
You know what I'm saying? See what I'm saying,
You
bro?
feel me?
That's
I
sick.
was like, yo, this is wild, yo.
So he says he goes out on a date, and while they're at the restaurant, at the bar, the last thing that this lady had was his name and his net worth attached to it. Right now, who knows what Aaron Gordon's dating? Is he dating just to try to get some slide in or whatever? Look, he's a handsome dude. Pause. He's a professional athlete. He's a champion. He's a guy that's on a roster that is known, right? He's not like the 12th man that doesn't get any time. But yet here he is meeting someone, and who knows how they met, whether it was somebody that vouched for her or they met on some type of app. But I can imagine it's hard to date as an athlete when you have money and status, and then you have people that they're not trying to get to know you. They're just trying to get to know how much your net worth is, man. It's wild. I can't see myself living that kind of life.
I feel bad for the people that have to do that, but I will actually kind of agree with them about the way going to European women about as far as anonymity is and being treated like you are, you're what's it called? You're not like as somebody who's money grubbing or anything like that. That is true. National Basketball Association is popular, but it's definitely not as popular as any type of football league or Formula One or the other types of driving that's over there, cricket for crying out loud, and there's like tennis as well, much bigger over in Europe. The National Basketball Association, it would be like trying right now to say, is this woman in the WNBA? And they'd show you some athletic woman, you'd have to say yes or no, and your best guess would be a 50-50. It would be the same thing as an NBA player going over to Europe. So I don't blame them. They'll have that anonymity and they'll be able to live their lives a little bit easier. And that's why they might go into that pool over there. That's all I got to say about that.
Yep. All right. So I'm gonna finish playing out the video because I think there was one more point that I wanted to bring up here.
And
All right.
This is
females are
wild.
smart these days because they can put off an image to where like they don't care about that. They're not in it for the bread. They just have your best interest at heart. But man, deep down somewhere, like if you was just a regular dude, who knows if she'd be messing with you. So how do you think you can
Hell
tell?
no, Mike.
And Eric Gordon even finished that off when Michael Porter said, if you were a regular dude, she wouldn't really be messing with you. And Aaron Gordon said, hell no, she probably wouldn't have. So she was probably someone that looked a certain way, right? And could probably command the attention of men with her looks. And she was sitting there to have Aaron Gordon's net worth up as the last thing that you looked at on your phone. Rookie mistake, rookie move, man.
Well, like I said, 0.001% of the population of women in the world is what we are speaking about. But if there's ever been a gold digger, like I said, it comes around just the people who want that proximity of power. They want to get their hands on doing absolutely nothing and either try to con their way or just to be able to find the way so they don't have to do anything and live their wildest dreams. And if you screw up their wildest dreams, they'll take half of your freaking money and then you'll be married to somebody who used to do porn and you're going to get mad that they have an OnlyFans page.
Man, we know somebody like that. We've talked about that person on our live stream. And prior to going into the next segment, one of the things that they talked about a little bit later on was it's either you knew the person in high school, like Patrick Mahomes, like LeBron James, and then you decide to build and do life with them because you knew them already, or you wait till a little bit later in life, post career, and start a family that way. The
Oh, look, and here's a perfect example of who did it, but who also kind of at one point it was more salacious than he wanted it to be. Look at Derek Jeter. Okay. Went his entire career from 1995 to 2014. Okay. Went his entire career without getting married, without doing anything. There was a couple things about his dating life, but he always kept it personally about baseball. Minute he retires, he marries a fucking Victoria's Secret's Angel swimsuit edition cover girl. Daggone, I can't remember her name, but fucking beautiful, most beautiful person in the world. He's now got 3 kids and he's an owner of a baseball team. But guess what? He did the family thing right after it. He did that fucking perfectly.
yep,
He
yep.
did that perfectly.
Hey,
That's over to you, Capitan, for doing it perfectly. As many of the things you did when you were donning the pinstripes.
yep, absolutely. Now, as I transition over to our next segment, I'm going to ask you a question, Coach.
Yeah, buddy.
Do you happen to know who was the prior record holder for most career points in college football before yesterday?
No.
All right.
No, because if you would have told me, I don't even know. Honestly, I really don't know.
I knew who it was, and it was relevant to this show. Navy midshipman quarterback Keenan Reynolds from 2012 to 2015 was the prior record holder for the most college career points until Alabama kicker Will Reichard broke the record and is now sitting atop as the most college points scored by a collegiate NFL athlete. Now,
Grant,
we're
Grant.
not gonna get into the main topic just yet. I kind of want to sit on that for a minute, as he broke the record, right, in a pretty important game, which we're gonna talk about a little bit later on as well. But when you look around, there's hardly any fanfare talking about it. People locally knew about it. If you follow the team, you knew about it. It wasn't mentioned on ESPN on any of their media platforms. Nor, in my opinion, did I think Alabama's own media do enough to push it as well. Because if I go to Twitter, I don't believe, or X, whatever it's called now, I don't believe that the Alabama football team, let's see, Alabama football, anything
Uh,
about it themselves. So let's take a look. Yep, so
uh,
they had some stuff today. Let's see. They're looking at other stuff. Nope, they didn't talk about it. They didn't talk about it at all.
Nobody's talking about
Again,
Bama. Oh,
okay, you know
Bama.
what? Since you want to hate, you want
Every
to hate.
time somebody says
Hey,
Bama,
let me just
a brother kisses his
wrap myself
sister.
in the covering because somebody wants to be a hater. So since you want to be a hater, we're gonna jump right into it. College football.
Oh, let's
Kidding.
fucking do this, my man.
Okay, I
Let's do this.
I'm gonna state my point and have the floor, and then I'm going to shut up, and then I'm going to let you have the floor. My point's going to be quick. My point's going to be real quick, but I do have to type this up here. So let me see. Did Alabama deserve to be in? Now we have one person who's already put in their comments. So I just want to make sure that I have this up on the screen so that people know where we're at talking about it. Last week on this show, I said that there is a backdoors way that Alabama could get in. We needed one of the top 3 teams to lose, or one of the top 4 teams to lose. And Alabama also needed to take care of business against Georgia, which Vegas and everybody had um, Georgia favored to win in the SEC championship game that played yesterday. On Friday, Texas took care of business against Iowa. That didn't surprise anybody. All right. When you take a look at the rest of the games that had occurred over this past weekend as well, Washington barely escaped in their win against Oregon, but that was number 3 against number 5. Again, good game. Both teams that I thought were highly competitive teams, right? But I said that if Alabama was going to have a shot, they needed to take care of Georgia and also have somebody else lose. Now, when you take a look at what happened this past weekend, right? The team that didn't take care of business in the way that people thought that they should have was Florida State. And if Florida State would have gotten into that game against Louisville and blew Louisville out, I think that the committee, and this is talking retro after the fact because we know who the top 4 teams are now. I think you definitely put Michigan and Washington in 1 and 2. All right, boom. The undefeated ACC team that would have had a distinctive championship win in Florida State, but they didn't take care of business. And I think you have to include Texas, who also won their conference championship game and beat one of the other championship game winners. If Florida State would have taken care of business and changed the narrative about how their team is put together, then Florida State would have deserved to have been in that 4th spot as well. All right. But they didn't. And Alabama did take care of business. And the college football playoff committee, in my opinion, got 3 of the 4 teams right. I believe that they got Michigan, Washington, and Alabama right. I'm not entirely too sure that Texas deserved that number 3 spot and one of the 4 teams, because if you're going to tell me that Georgia would lose to a Texas team, I'm going to tell anybody listening that they are out of their freaking minds. And I think that the top 4 teams should have been Georgia, Alabama, Michigan, and Washington. Now, that's my take on it. All right. And I made a public declaration on the sports bar of what I think's going to happen. I'm going to say that in the next 30 seconds, and then I'm going to shut up. And then, coach, you have the floor. I made a very public declaration in which I said that Alabama is going to win their game. They're going to beat Michigan. That they're going to show people why they did deserve that spot. Texas is not going to take care of business against Washington. I think Washington is going to have a point to prove. They don't play no defense. Absolutely no defense. But their offense is freaking fantastic. Penix is going to get a Heisman snub because the quarterback from LSU had a better resume over the entire length of the season. And that Washington team and Penix are going to come out, and that's going to be your best bowl game on January the 1st, in which Washington is going to win against Texas, and you're going to have Alabama against Washington for the college football playoffs. Now, say what you want. People are everybody that's on Texas's bandwagon is saying that Washington's going to curb stomp. I'm sorry, Washington's going to get curb stomped by Texas. And in a way, I hope that happens because in my scenario, you have Alabama who's going to win their game playing against Texas, and we're going to have a rematch, and you're going to see the Tide come out on top. So, whatever scenario that occurs, the top 3 of the top 4 teams did get in. I'm going to read the comment that Brittany had put up a while ago, and then I'm going to shut up, and then I'm going to let Coach and the people in the comments who have something to say what they have to say. So Brittany said earlier, I'm just not tuning in, but Alabama does not deserve a spot in the playoffs. FSU should be in as an undefeated Power 5 champ who beat 2 SEC teams and did everything that they possibly could. And the committee said that we will find an excuse to get the number 8 SEC team. It's disgusting. And Brittany, before I turn this over to Coach, 1 second. Brittany, Logically, I could rock with that. I could rock with that. If I were to go logically, I would say that FSU did deserve a spot. And then you should put Texas in over Alabama. But I'm going to say right now, if you took right now, I don't think you put FSU as any of those top four teams and saying that they're going to beat Alabama. They're going to beat Michigan. They're going to beat Washington or Texas. That's my take on it. Coach, I'm shutting up. You've been waiting. You have the floor. I'm going on mute.
First, I just want to announce that it's 7-0 right now. Green Bay, Kansas City has got the ball in the end zone. It's second down, and they just had a sack. And then the stadium right now is about halfway full of cheese and bratwurst farts. That being said, I would definitely like to talk about the ridiculous plays that just occurred. And I am going to speak about this in regards to Alabama and Florida State because that's where the deep controversy is coming in. And I'm going to say everything and sum everything up with one word, and that is hypocrisy. Hypocrisy is what happened today. And this is what has been happening within college. And I'm not going to say that this is some type of, secret type of Illuminati type crap that's happening between this of what's happening with all the NCAA sports. No, I'm not saying anything like this, but I'm going to explain to you that Florida State not getting in, despite being undefeated, is the move that is actually going to be triggering other changes within the college football landscape. And this is where I'm coming from. Now, in my opinion, the only reason why Alabama was chosen as the number 4 team in the nation doesn't have anything to do with ratings, doesn't have anything to do with the SEC. It doesn't have anything to do with it. It came down to the quarterback situation currently at Florida State. Many of you know that their first string went down 2 games left right before the Florida game. Their backup, who played admirably and got them the gritty win over at Florida, was in the concussion protocol. He was cleared to play but did not play. So their third string true freshman quarterback, okay, at the moment, who had 2 days of practice with the main squad, went in and in a very ugly, very defensive-oriented game, which Florida State's defense needs to be, and I'll say this right now, this might have been the performance of the year within college football. You have the equivalent of Tommy DeVito coming out and you're winning the ACC championship and coming undefeated for the entire year. The greatest the performance that could have happened on a team for this entire regular season of the college football. And you're blaming the quarterback situation. Okay? What you've done now is you have now just had a chance to deny a true person who deserves to be in that daggone championship. And you've now denied them the opportunity to have a miracle run. And I'm saying a miracle run on this because back in, I don't know, King, let me see. It must have been somewhere January 2018. I'm pretty sure you remember this game. But, current Eagles quarterback, Jalen Hurts, he was doing pretty crappy in the what's it called game, wasn't he? The national championship game. And who was the true freshman that came out? A guy by the name of Tua Tagovailoa. And he came back at a time that Alabama was down, came back, brought it back, and they won the freaking national championship. He was named the offensive MVP for the game. You have now denied the chance of this true freshman to show what he's got on a national stage in front of everybody. And you denied us the chance to have the truthful person just because you think that the quarterback is going to have a problem out there. That is not fair in the competition. What you have essentially done, you hypocrites, have said that the entire regular season doesn't count. You could finish undefeated and not be invited to the dance out of a Power 5 conference. And everybody said it was an unprecedented move. Well, guess what? Now you have set the precedence. But you have set the precedence for next year. What many people don't remember, though, is that while this year is finally ending in controversy, this is the last year of the Championship 4 format. Next year, the top 12 teams go into a multi-week, and by the way, Taylor Swift's at the football game. Taylor Swift's at the Frozen Tundra in Lambeau Field. You now go to a multi-game playoff with 12 teams. Much more fair, much more what we've been asking for since 1989, or I don't know. Let's just circle a year. Forever since I've been born, you've been asking for a playoff. It's finally coming. And you finally have your controversy that's going to be completely forgotten about because this is never going to happen again. Well, look, I want to talk to you about the hypocrisy that I said. This comes from you Bama fans that say, well, we had the better quarterback at this point, and because Florida State doesn't have a quarterback, we deserve it. No, you're a hypocrite. Because just because you don't have your quarterback settled doesn't mean that one can't come up. Jalen Hurts was y'all's meal ticket, and you guys shit your pants at first when Tua came in, and then when Tua came in, you guys wiped your ass and then just celebrated for the rest of the night, and then went home and fucked your sister. Okay, sorry, King, I had to throw that in there. Anyway, now I'm calling hypocrisy on the NCAA. And this is where I call hypocrisy on the NCAA, is because after the selection for the championship playoff, you then announced who's going to play in the 6 big New Year's Day bowl games, even though technically none of them, 3 of them are going to be on other days and blah, blah, blah. Okay. You announced 2 of the games, and then you have completely dismissed Oklahoma because you have decided to give a undefeated Liberty University, currently ranked number 22 in the nation, but also had the weakest schedule in the entire Division I football. But you gave them one of these bowl games because they won the AAC. No, yeah, they won the AAC undefeated. But Florida State won the ACC undefeated. So you mean to tell me that a 2-loss or 1-loss Oklahoma team doesn't deserve a game before that? You just set a precedence. What happened to that number 12 team, Oklahoma? How come they're not playing? Oh, I'm sorry. You get to go to the I'm going to be bankrupt in 2 years.com bowl over in frickin' Albuquerque? That's what they get? That's what they end up getting? You hypocrites. You did this to cause a controversy, to cause an unprecedented move in which you are not going to be remembered for next year, because all will be right in the world when finally we get our college playoff system. So keep going ahead, and those that pull the strings of the NCAA, keep acting like the hypocrites that you are. And I'm just glad that these athletes are going to get more or just a little bit out of the money that you are making off of them. That being said, Florida State was robbed. My opinion, Florida State finished undefeated in a Power 5 conference. And I had been since that day saying that since they started, if you finished undefeated, you deserve to be in there. Now, I can give you this, and I will say something to you, King. I wouldn't have cared whether it had been Texas or Bama as long as Florida State was in. If you see where I'm getting at. If Florida State got in and Bama shot up to number 4, okay, they just beat the number 1 team in the nation. Okay, not a problem. I could see that. But Texas, I could see if they were better than Bama, which technically right now they're actually they're ranked higher than Bama. But I don't see Texas or Bama, even with one loss. And by the way, Bama's one loss is against Texas. Okay. So that being said, I do not see an undefeated team not being ranked higher than a freaking one loss team. And that's okay. 2 one-loss teams jumped frogged Florida State to get in there. I don't agree with it. I truly don't. You just basically said that the ACC is is a shittier football conference, and the merits that the ACC champion has is nothing. Yeah. But don't worry about it. The runner up of the frickin' the Pac-12, they can go ahead and face off against the undefeated frickin' conference champion of the AAC. Hypocrites. I rest my case.
All right. You had some people who had agreed with you, and I'm going to ask you a question and then read these comments here that came in. With the 4 teams that did make it, make your predictions on air right now. I've made mine. Make yours.
I think we're going to see Michigan Texas national championship game, and in a sick twist of fate, because I love fuck you stories, we are going to see Michigan win the national championship, and Jim Harbaugh is going to get investigated. They're somehow going to take away this national championship within the next decade, and then Jim Harbaugh is going to be, coaching over at East Boise State or something like that.
Okay, so y'all heard my prediction. I said Alabama over Michigan, Washington over Texas, and you're gonna have Alabama just curb stomp Washington, and Bama's gonna win that natty. So I got Bama. Coach
Yep,
has
yep, and ladies and gentlemen, if you ever wonder why the incest rate continues to go up in one country every time they celebrate a Bama championship. So, ladies and gentlemen, to help stop the incestual relationships of going up in America, please root against Alabama.
All right, so we had some people comment on this one. All right, we got Richard Bronco said that FSU should be in. And hey, look, I said in a logical world, I would agree with FSU, Washington, and Michigan in a logical world. And then you take Texas as the 4th, as they're the conference champion that beat the other conference champion over Alabama. In a logical world, I would say boom. But just like I said, looking at it, if looking at the teams now, I'm like, there's no way that FSU beats any of the 4 that's in. That's where I'm going to land my plane.
Okay. I'm going to say that on the eye test as of right now, this guy, and by the way, Green Bay just scored again. It is now 13-3, extra point pending, and more cheese farts are being expelled out of the anus of Packers fans inside the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field.
You had a point.
Yeah, my point was, what the hell was I just talking about? Fuck. I forgot what the hell I was going to
You got
say.
a focus, coach.
Great.
Um,
Damn it. Yeah, the touchdown got me distracted, and, I'm giving you the updates of the ball game. My bad.
all right. Well, I'm going to go back to reading the comments. If it pops up, let me know.
Yes.
See, Brittany said
Sorry.
that which is Florida State, reading context clues, still won with our 3rd string quarterback.
Yes, that's what I was saying. This kid's going to end up starting the bowl game. And if this kid throws for 400 yards against Georgia, okay, just thinking of what he could have been doing against either, freaking Bama or Texas. Just think about that for a minute. Or Florida State. What he could have done. What he could have done against Washington. If they were the number 3 team and given Washington the 2 team. Just think about, just because this quarterback situation. Don't give me that this kid's not there. This kid's going to have this entire month with that offense right there. And you're going to have the backup who's going to be back, who's been getting the first team snaps. So let's give them the opportunity to freaking be the next Tua.
You can
Sorry.
if that. It won't happen. It won't happen, but you can certainly if that. That Georgia defense is tough. It won't happen.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-mm.
Hey, it won't happen, but shit. Nobody thought that Bama was going to do it except for the people who, kissed their sister.
Chad Blake over on Facebook said that the College Football Playoff Committee stated that it's about the money and not about the record by making the selections that they made. Look, there were a lot of different characters.
No. And this is the thing that gets me. And I'm going to say recency bias is what got them the most. It had nothing to do with money. It had to do with the recency bias with this thing with the quarterback. Because if they were going to make money, you could have made a case. You could have made a case. Even though all these champions could have gotten there, why did a one-loss Ohio State, who never had a chance to go in there, who for the majority of the season was also ranked number 1, and lost to the current number 1 team, not even in the discussion for the top 6? Anybody? We're so worried about Georgia, but what about Ohio State? Why the hell why are they also ranked? Just because they didn't play that one game? They had one loss to the number 1 team and couldn't prove themselves. That, had they not gotten in, that would have been the 4th team, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who's the number 1 team? Michigan, Ohio State, the Rose Bowl, the last time that they're going to have a proper Rose Bowl because the Pac 12 is dissolving. So let's have 2 Big Ten teams that are in the, if many people say, top 5, if not the greatest rivalry in all of college football. That would have been your money. So don't tell me that they picked Bama for money. If they picked money, they would have picked Ohio State.
Do you remember one of the teams that made it last year that nobody said should have been in it and it was obvious? TCU?
Yeah, TCU. Everybody thought TCU was there. And then let's remember what happened last year. What was it, 29-0 or 26-0?
Skull drug.
Skull
That's
drug
what would have
Michigan.
happened if this FSU team got in. I'm telling you.
No, I don't think
that
so.
would have been this year's TCU. If Florida State got
Okay. All right, Michigan went in with the same quarterback, right? They didn't have any problems with
Correct.
quarterback, did they? Okay. So there was no indication that Michigan wasn't going to put up a fight prior to the game. They have an indication that Florida State wasn't going to put up the best fight, and they blinked. That's what they did. They acted like hypocrites, and they blinked because they thought that a one-loss daggone Alabama team that has their quarterback is better than an undefeated team that is going to a backup. That's bullshit.
King.
Yep.
I just can't wait for King Stradamus to be right in my prediction.
No, not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You know what? If Alabama wins, let's go ahead and make this bet right now. Okay, King?
Hey, let's hear it.
If Alabama wins, I will come on I will come on video for the first time and I will kiss my sister.
All right, let's see. We are at the 1 hour, 7-minute mark. Clipping that.
Clip it. Clip it, King.
Bet.
Clip it.
Man, why all the Bama hate, man?
That is not a problem. So everybody that's out there, Richard Branco, if you're still out there and you're still listening, and Brittany, if you're still listening, and everybody else is still listening out there, I promise you, I will kiss my sister live on air if Alabama wins the national championship.
Hey, does your sister give consent? Yeah. It's all about consent, coach.
Hey, we'll find out.
All right, man.
We'll
We had the
find out.
comments flow in. Scott
Thank you,
Scott
Frederick.
Higginbottom over on Facebook said Georgia hasn't lost to a Texas team. They hadn't lost to anyone in 29 games.
Yep.
Hey,
Yep. Alabama did lose to Texas.
let's see. Dominique said when they play Bama, they've lost twice. I don't give a fuck about the last 2 years. Hey man, the comments was going at each other too. I like it. Dre over on YouTube said that Jalen Miro is him. Roll Tide. Hey, my man. Hey, see, Dre, finally a listener that gets me. Roll Tide, Dre. I appreciate you, man. If you hadn't hit that like button over on YouTube already,
Don't even
he
try
followed that
that.
up with
No,
Jalen Miro has
no.
more passing yards and passing TDs than JJ McCarthy at Michigan, and Jalen missed the game. Miro about to destroy Michigan. Roll Tide. And see, I'm not gonna get into it now. I'll save that for next week. Dominique.
Look, like I said, like I said. This is going to be an ultimate fu, and Michigan's got the ultimate fu right now with what they did with Harbaugh. So Harbaugh's going to do it just to say fu to the NCAA. That's why. That's the way this story always
Hey,
goes. You always get some team that's going to want to say fu every year to the establishment, and Michigan's going to do it.
I love a good narrative. Let's not get it twisted. I love a good narrative. And the narrative of Coach Harbaugh saying F you to the establishment is one I can't get behind. All right. So Dominique over on Facebook said that this dude said that me being me, that Washington was going to beat Texas. He said, them motherfuckers have zero defense and neither does any team in the Pac 12. Texas has both. Again, I did say that Washington has no defense, but their offense is
Yeah.
phenomenal. And what I said on my Facebook
Oh,
post, and I'm going to put it up here, and this is posted across 3 different platforms. This one is the Sports Bar over on Facebook. If you're not following that one, please follow it. But I said, let me go ahead and make my position clear, and that I'm either going to eat crow or King Stradamus, which is me, is going to be right. I said Bama will beat Michigan, nothing else to add. I said Texas won't beat Washington. Currently, Vegas actually has Texas favorite by 4. I think because there's a lot of time that's going to happen, that is slowly going to shrink, and that we may find by kickoff that Vegas is going to have Washington favored. All right. This is me stating this live on there. I'm not changing it. I said Washington doesn't have a defense, but that offense is stupid crazy. And that they're going to find a way to win the game because of the offense. I predict that it's going to be, I said shout out. I meant to say shootout. Let me edit that. It's going to be a shootout with Texas making a mistake that's going to cause them to lose the game. Penix is going to come out and be pass happy and prove a point because he didn't win the Heisman. All right. So that's my take on it. Very live on there, Dominique. Not changing it. That's my position. You had Richard
right.
Bronco said, preach, coach. And that Chad Blake said that, hey, 100% agree with you. Brittany added, is this not a team sport? Why even have a committee? Let's just use the algorithm to pick the 4 best teams.
Well, we did. There was an algorithm at one point, and that was called the BCS. And everybody complained about that too. Trust me, it was terrible back then. College football has not had a proper way to actually get its national champion for quite a long time. They've taken incremental steps to try to get to what they're getting to next year. But for as far back as I can remember, we've had ridiculous stuff. Like the AP had their national championship. And most of the time, if you finished undefeated, well, you know you were the national champion. But then there was certain other people that like finished undefeated too, but because they played in a different conference, they were the ones, and the writers voted for them. And then we said, oh, that wasn't great, so we got a coaches championship, and then that was voted on by the coaches, and then they could vote differently, and you had split national championships like Colorado and Notre Dame, and then like Michigan and I think Nebraska one year, 97, and then 2003, 2004, which, if you go back in history, I believe was Coach Saban's first split national championship, was when he was at LSU and he split it with USC. Let's go all the way back to all those days. No, no, no. Then we had the BCS, which was something that was completely screwed up, that was nothing but a cash grab. And that algorithm kept screwing around with people who deserved to be in but weren't in, and then they had to go to subsequent other bowls. So we finally had a playoff system in 2014. And this is now a 10 years old. It's matured enough, and now it's time for the change to get to it. So basically, college football has been fucked up like this for all our lives. And now they're finally going to have a magic cure. But I guarantee you somebody's going to bitch about who the 13th person is.
Yeah, and you know,
It's like how everybody complains that the NCAA field, it was the field of 64. Now it's the field of 68, 69. Giggity. Soon it's going to be the field of 72 or something like that. And everybody bitches, gripes, and moans about who number 69 or 68 is, or whomever. The 69th team, the first team that's going to be out. Oh, God, the NCAA did not do this right because you have this one team going. For crying out loud, we are never going to have a perfect system, but at least we're going to have incremental steps to get to a better system to finally appease the sports fan. So, you know what? Fuck it. They fucked up this year. Next year, you're going to get 12. Don't you bitch to me about number 13.
it's interesting to me because you have these AP polls and all these other polls. There's 10 Division 1A conferences, and then you've got 4
Yeah.
independent teams. All right. It should be, and I don't know, this is just silly old me, US Air Force veteran talking here. The 10 uh conference conference championships. All right, you attach the 4 independents
Okay.
into a conference. All right, the conference championships, winners all get into a playoff 1 through 10. They play each other. Boom. You have a series of playoffs from those 10 teams. Name your college champion. Is it the current setup, because there's so many damn teams, uneven conferences, is just so disorganized. You have to create an arbitrary way to say who's the NCAA football champion. You need to restructure the whole damn thing and then set it up that way. You've got 100 and some odd teams.
Ye-
Narrow it down to the each
ye-
of the 10 conference champions, and then have your playoff.
yeah. Yeah, but then you're seeing the haves and the have-nots again. And as you can see right now with the way the college landscape is going and the unregulation as far as the conferences and how people are going. I mean, for crying out loud, we're going to have the freaking the Big 12, the ACC, the Big 10 is going to be ridiculous next year. SEC is going to get a team from freaking California, right? Aren't they getting
It's a stupid
yeah,
split.
okay. Okay, let's be quite honest here. Florida to California, the Southeastern Conference. For some of them, come on. We're already completely screwed up by how many teams are getting out and doing all this other crap for it. That is a multi-million-dollar individual right fees that nobody's going to want to get rid of, and they're making hand over fist and money over it. They will never do something that have the 10 things because there's the haves and the have-nots. And this conference realignment will always get screwed up because I don't want somebody from the champion of the Sun Belt Conference to, think that they're going to go against, a freaking undefeated Michigan team and have a damn chance. There is a certain thing. Now, I agree that 12 team or 16, I think 16 might be the limit, but I think, conventionally you would want to keep it to 8 to 12 and try to do something where it's 3 or 4 week time period. That way you're not getting rid of that much studies and you're doing it mainly in those breaks between the spring session or the fall session and the spring session. So that's their entire, winter break is played football or available for football. So that's how they spend it. Keep it just to that limit right there, however many teams you can fit, whether it be 10, 12, 16, whatever the hell you have. But I want everybody out of those Power Five conferences to be in. The winner of those automatic freaking bids. Any team that's freaking undefeated, any team, okay? Whether it be an independent, whether it be one of these other below five schools that, other five schools that make it in. Well, guess what? They make the freaking things if they're undefeated. That's an automatic. Don't care how freaking terrible that schedule is, but they automatically make the freaking playoffs. And then you start having the debates over the one loss teams. And I don't care if it's arbitrary. I don't care if it's got a freaking, chat GPT freaking AI type of daggone thing. I don't care if you stick a freaking balloon up their ass and blow freaking helium up there and try to get them to go all the way up until it hits the buzzer and then you win the stuffed animal. Do whatever the hell you want, but just don't freaking act like there are not the haves and the have nots when it comes down to these conference championships. Because Liberty's going to get fucking smoked.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Oh.
All right. We're going to transition over into our next segment here. I'm going to put something up on the screen that had me cracking up laughing. All right. So on Twitter, Nike Kicks put, "Do you ever think that Kevin Durant would wear Anthony Edwards' Adidas sneaker?" To which KD responded over on Twitter, "You won't ever see me put a big toe in them MFers." To which Adidas posted up and then deleted, "You Dusty, about to retire soon anyway," and followed that up with, "Meant to send that from the burner account." I think somebody over at Adidas got fired as that tweet is now deleted. And it was just a bad, bad move from a I don't know if they're a $1 billion company, but a multi-million-dollar company in Adidas post show.
Oh, Adidas is $1 billion company, yes. They are a German company, though.
Ah, German, was du essen. That's
Yes.
all I know
Yes.
because I like to eat.
Yep.
All right.
You know that Jordan was. You know that Jordan. Well, you've seen the show or the movie Air,
Yes.
right? About Michael Jordan. So yeah, you saw that. Yeah, he was going to sign with Adidas, and he really wanted to sign with Adidas because of Run DMC.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
Now
Jordan could have been in Adidas.
we're gonna go over into our WTF Nation Radio fantasy football news and give the updates assistant playoff section. All right, here is our WTF Nation Radio fantasy updates. Now, can I make this a little bit bigger? That's what she said. Hey, there we go. So if you take a look at the standings, all right, we've got the bottom 5 teams are already
Shit, I'm back in last place
all
again.
right, and you got Coach down here at the very bottom. They're sitting here with the E's next to them. I'm up here at the top. Pop Culture Warrior is fighting to try to make it into the playoffs as he still has a shot. But I don't believe he is going to win this week. Let's take a look at where we're sitting at now to see if Pop Culture Warrior is going to have a chance or if he's going to be doubling the pot here for this year's fantasy football champion. All right. So he's playing against Ambassador Wilson. Ambassador Wilson, I don't know if you're watching. He asked me if I ever talk about our league, and I said, yeah, we talk about it every week. All right. And he's been managing this team doing really, really well. Right now, CQ is projected to lose. And with Jamar Chase and Evan Ingram slated to play tomorrow, with the quarterback that's throwing the Chase, Chase is not that dude anymore like he used to be. I think that Ambassador Wilson is going to be able to hold off CQ and help eliminate Pop Culture Warrior from our league this year.
Oh, yeah. That's
I
great.
need that to happen. Now,
Oh, come on, fantasy gods. Let's do it. Fuck over CQ like you fucked over me.
Now, in this next matchup, I'm glad that Flash's Revenge is still managing his team, even though he's 3-9. The only reason why I know that is because he put in James Conner, and James Conner showed out today in that Cardinals win over the Steelers. Now, we talked about the Steelers being a storied franchise, and they got beat by a lowly Cardinals team in a game that had multiple weather delays. Is there anything as we talk about the fantasy team, let's also make sure that we talk about what happened in the league as well. Is there anything with the
Man,
players that's listed here that you want to talk about, Coach Man, before we go to the next?
man, I will tell you. You just mentioned that that weather delay. That weather delay prolonged the agony of all the Pittsburgh fans watching that offense play. They looked as bad as the Jets. I don't know what the hell's going on with Kenny Pickett and why this offense has no weapons and can't get the ball moving down the field. But I feel bad for the kid.
It's bad, and they
Oh,
made some staffing changes over there, and they still look pedestrian, man. I'm like, I don't know how you can
yeah.
watch these Steelers play the way that they played. It looks like we struck a nerve. Devin Crawford must be a Steelers fan because he said "F you." Yes.
Hey,
Yes. No, coach.
good.
Yeah, this is fantastic. If we could get one FU a show, we've put on a good show.
Hey, fine with me.
Oh man. Hey, Devin, I appreciate you popping in.
Have a great day, Devin. May God
Make
bless
sure
you.
that you hit that like button as well, Devin. We appreciate you tuning in over here at the sports bar.
Fucking
Now, the surprise team
fucking cunt
is
guy.
whoever Danica is. They've been on auto since week 2. Okay. And the auto features
How the fuck is she still?
done a fantastic job of putting in the right people because even with a goose egg, all right, she beat Team Radar, who's got a I think a playoff built team. Tank Dell got hurt early in the game, carted out. I think his season might be done. I'm not entirely too sure. He said, "Hey, just kidding. Have a good night." Hey, like I said, I saw it and I thought that's awesome. Hey, Devin, man, I appreciate you tuning in, brother or lady. Devin's one of those names that you're just not entirely too sure. But Terry McLaurin, 0 yards. I thought he was injured. No, he played in that game. Didn't have a catch. Not a single catch.
Damn.
That was interesting to me. That Miami defense made the Washington Commanders look stupid. All right. Absolutely.
Man, and by the way, now speaking of the Commanders, did you hear what happened after the game?
No.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, the stands had to be evacuated about 45 minutes after the game.
Oh, yeah. I did see that.
The fucking water came up from the shitters.
Yeah. I saw that there was an emergency at FedEx Field, but it just didn't register. That's right.
That, that's That's what happened, ladies and gentlemen. FedEx Field, definitely by far the worst stadium in the National Football League. Just shitters full.
It makes sense.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, shitters full.
It makes sense,
That's
man.
what we gotta get a picture of Uncle Eddie like emptying out the toilet from what's it called? From FedEx Field and say Merry Christmas,
Yes.
shitters.
Yes. Hey, whoever's good at memes, create that and send it to us at the sports bar. That'll be awesome.
That's what we gotta do. Hey, Nemo, Warhol, get on that if you can. Make a graphic. Uncle Eddie sucking shit out of the RF out of FedEx Field and saying Merry Christmas. Shitters full. We'll go viral.
Yep. Going over to the next one. Coach, you just didn't manage your team because Aaron Jones was already listed as out. Devontae Adams on the bye.
Brother, I know.
This is not
I
no. I
you
can't
know
stand
I
this.
told you
I can't stand this though. If you're gonna
okay,
participate,
okay,
you gotta
okay.
manage your team because you just gave Tim an easy win when another team is still fighting for playoff positions. Man, you can't do this.
Yet all right, all right, all right. You are right. I should have managed my team. And just like a lot of other people that are around that can relate to me on this, after the first week, when freaking my starting quarterback, I know, and yes, I am a homer. I've told everybody this. I am a homer. So yes, I picked Aaron Rodgers. And after the first week of the season, my whole fucking NFL season has been absolutely deplorable. After 5 snaps, 4 of them being plays, my season was done. And so was my fantasy season because I couldn't get myself juiced up to do this shit anymore. I seriously couldn't, man.
Money
It was
is
like
on the line.
everything was depressing,
Money
man.
is on the line. I'm putting you on.
Yeah, you're winning your own money, man.
I
For fuck's sake,
mean,
you're number one in the
yeah, I mean, there's still a way I lose, all right, but we can't be giving out easy wins to other
Hey,
people.
hey, but you can't say that I am not fan friendly because I, like the New York Jets should be doing, am tanking for the betterment of everybody else. I am tanking for my fans, just like what the New York Jets should be doing.
Moving on. Mike
See, you can't argue that logic,
Mike
can you?
Larson is going to pull off his win, even though Kyle, who has been managing his team as well, just didn't have the pieces together to pull off his win. Derrick Henry at 25 fantasy points looked to be having a monster day until he went out of the game in, I believe, the third quarter and didn't come back in. I hope that Derrick Henry, his season this year was
Yeah.
not a good year. It drives home the running back debate. You saw that the coach running back, Jonathan Taylor didn't play today. It's like there's a reason
Yeah,
why
he's out
teams
tonight
aren't
too.
valuing running backs, and uh, the injuries today was definitely a reason why. But
And speaking of that game, so in NFL history, there is a tie. The most blocked punts in a game was tied today by one player over on Indianapolis. Blocked 2 punts today.
hey, nice. They're
You
special
know,
teams
that's
pretty well.
something. Yeah, I can't find his name, but that was something interesting because yeah, I saw that on the Red Zone channel, and man, that yeah, the freaking and I thought that they had the game. I thought that they were going to be able to get that, but damn, Indy coming back and you're winning it. Hell yeah,
That coach team,
I'm all
man.
for it. Gardner
Yes.
Minshew. Gardner Minshew is, he's done good. I never thought anything highly of Richardson at the beginning of this year, but freaking Richardson impressed me. He did up until he got injured, and then Minshew has been coming in, and Minshew's the backup quarterback of the year of backup quarterbacks because it seems like everybody's on their second or third or fourth string
Mhm.
quarterback.
Yep.
That's what's happening.
Gardner's coming in with that long flowing mullet and doing the damn thing.
Yep.
And then the
Yeah.
last team, it looks like I'm projected and going to beat Josh Big. I actually have a parlay going right now, and having Kelsey be
Oh
suppressed is
gosh.
a good thing for me because I need for Kelsey to have under 65 yards total. Uh,
With the way he's going, I think that's actually a good
yeah,
bet. And remember, Taylor Swift is in Lambeau with Kelsey.
I'm crossing my fingers, man. Crossing my fingers.
Yep,
But I hit pretty good. Look,
yep.
my running backs might be what hurt me going into the playoffs, but I've got solid PPR wide receivers. And, and hey, this is what I do.
dude, there is a guy painted all yellow, and he's got a curse. He's got a Santa beard, and he's shirtless, and he's right in front of the what's it called, the thing that he's in the same section, along the same row that freaking what's her name's in,
Nice.
that Taylor Swift's in.
Nice.
A shirtless Santa Claus. She doesn't see many of them at her concerts.
That's awesome.
Painted yellow, gotta love it.
Hey, here is a pro tip.
Man, Taylor Swift has never smelt this many cheers and beer farts ever in her life.
Yes. Here is a pro,
Welcome to fucking Green Bay, Taylor.
here's a pro fantasy tip. Find out what defense is playing the Jets that week and play them. You will get double-digit fantasy points almost every week.
Yes, you definitely will. Between them and the Patriots, the most inept offenses on the face of the earth. I'm trying to figure out who's got the most inept offense. It's between the pet. You know what? Just for some reason, for some daggone reason, I am going to say that it's going to be like a shootout with the Pats and the Jets, the last game of the season. And I don't know why it's going to be, but it's either going to be either the worst game ever, or it's going to end up being like a shootout. And either way, what's going to end up happening is honestly the Jets are going to end up losing the game anyway, or they're going to end up winning the game, because if they win the game, then that secures the Patriots getting the number one pick in the draft, because that's the way the Jets always do the fucking things, and it'll end up fucking them over somehow where they don't get an offensive lineman. So go figure with that one. It's either going to be the worst games, the most inept offenses on the face of the earth, or it's going to be a freaking blowout or a shootout.
That's been about how these Thursday night football games are, right? Like, for example, this upcoming week on Amazon Prime, boring. Patriots versus the freaking Steelers, all right? Week after that, it's Chargers, Raiders, Saints, Rams, and the Jets, Browns to finish us up. What the hell is Amazon Prime trying to do? If they're trying to get people to watch these Thursday night Prime games, this one's the season to do it. They've been terrible.
No. Well, look, let's be honest. We all look, when they pick the schedules, we all look at the offseason. And the offseason Warriors, the offseason Super Bowl champions for 50 years running have been the New York Jets. They win the offseason. So we always end up getting stuck with some type of shitty thing. And every time that they win the offseason, they're put into these freaking primetime games. And they do this with Amazon early in the season, that, hey, there's going to be some intrigue possibly with these teams. And when you get the discount bargain bin of primetime games on a Thursday night on Amazon Prime, you're going to get these things that late in the season, you're going to have people that nobody, even their fans, want to see anymore.
Yep. The Jets had two.
So what happens?
The Jets get two on Thursday night on the strength of Aaron Rodgers alone. That OMFer gets hurt minute one of the game, and it looks like he might come back. Okay, but what's the incentive for Aaron Rodgers to play in the last week or the last couple of games?
All right. This is it. I'm not calling this a bad thing. I am saying this as an ego thing. Aaron Rodgers wants to prove it's possible. Now, if he comes back within the next or the last 2 weeks, he's doing it for his own ego and his own pride. And I would like to have an Aaron Rodgers who's got a little bit of an ego and a hell of a lot more pride going into 2024 with his second and possibly final year with the New York Jets, with the same Aaron Rodgers ego that he displayed when he was winning these MVPs up in Green Bay.
Okay.
So allowing him to do it just for him to satisfy his ego, I'm all for it. Unless, and I'll be quite honest, I'm not expecting Aaron Rodgers to tear it up, but I'm expecting them to at least look competent over those two games. And I don't care if they win. I prefer they lose just because I like draft picks.
Yeah.
And I don't care what daggone weapon it is, you get something to protect the offensive line. I don't give a shit if Marvin Harrison Jr. is still there. You got lucky this year. Count your blessings that it's high, but get the thing you need the most, which is an offensive lineman. That's all I'll say.
We shall see what
And
they
by the
do.
way, we may not get into this one because we didn't talk about this one, but whoever the hell had Tyreek Hill, I swear to God, do you have who has Tyreek? Because they've got to be in the
Let's
playoffs.
see.
Tyreek alone should just be getting them into
We'll
the
find that
playoffs.
out right now. Yeah, that was the pick to pick it at PPR. It was Tim Hinkle, which is a guy who I know personally.
Yeah,
He's one of the teams that
man,
make it to the
Tyreek
playoffs.
Hill. He may end up. He's on pace now for 2,096 yards by week 17.
Do you have
Right
something to say about this, Coach? If so, let the people know.
now, now I do. Okay, by week 7 or by week 18. Okay, that's when he's got that. But the current right now, the that record has been set in the 16 game season. Now we're into a 17 game season. Are we going to asterisk any of these records that are happening now that there's a 17 game season, which is something that could happen? Well, some people still say that Calvin Johnson's 1965 in 16 games will be better than Tyron Hill 2,000 yards, but he doesn't beat the 1965 in 16. But he beats it in game 17. I don't think anybody should complain about that.
Hmm.
What about you, King?
I'm with you. Adding that extra game would cheapen it, in my opinion, because if you were to do that, I then think you'd have to go and say, okay, if he beats the record and he does it in the same amount of games played, then it means more. But to get that extra
Okay.
game, I think you have to put an asterisk by it. I'm curious what the people in the chat would say.
All right. So I'll ask you about this then. All right. So that we're going to go with an NFL record because NFL has pulled this out. Baseball has the easiest one because you can talk about Ruth and Maris with the home run record, and then we can talk about everything else afterwards. Some people feel Aaron Judge is now the all-time home run record. That's a debate for another time, and nobody gives a shit about baseball right now. But let's go with the single season rushing record. Okay. So the single season rushing record, the second person who ever did that was Eric Dickerson. He ran for 2,105 yards. But he did that in 16 games. After 14 games, he had under 2,000 yards. So the NFL has been recognizing Eric Dickerson, but the record holder before him, a man who ran for 2,000 yards in 14 games, is no longer the record holder. So the NFL has already set a precedence for that. And by the way, do you know who that person was who ran for 2,000 yards in 14 games?
No, was it AP?
No, it wasn't. No. AP did that in 16 games. That's how far when he did his. No, The man who ran for 2,000 yards in 14 games, he sliced his way through his defenses and cut right through the O lines to the open gaps left and right, just as fast as a restaurant waiter would return a purse and sunglasses to a white woman in Brentford, California in 1994, right before he was made into a human Pez dispenser along with the white woman. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am talking about the one, the only
The juice.
Orenthal James
The juice.
Simpson. Yes, the Juice. Juice did it in 14 games. So, are we going to say that everybody who breaks these records, going all the way back to when the time that the Juice cut through the defenses and slashed through the O lines, instead of white women. Are we going to go back to saying that everybody who gets that record had to have done that in 14 games? No, we continue to keep that record. We still call Earl Campbell the single season record, and everybody still chases after 2,105 yards. Okay. And I think AP is like 7 yards or 8 yards short
He got
or
close.
something like that. Something real close, or six or something like that. Really freaking close. I feel bad for him. So if Tyreek Hill goes for 2,000 yards in 17 games, I still will consider it the record.
Okay.
If he goes for 1966 in 17 games, I still consider it the record. The precedence has been set from the NFL for quite a long time. The precedence in Major League Baseball had to be set in 1991 because they were still recognizing two separate but equal champions. And let's be honest, separate but equal in the United States does not work.
Doesn't exist.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's all the politics we have for this evening.
Hey, and actually, that's a good way to end the show, man. I think that's a good segment to end the show. So we're going to do that. So it is December the 3rd. Again, it's my dad's 65th birthday. To those of y'all that are new to the sports bar and to WTF Nation Radio, salute. I know I had some new listeners, for some people that know me that didn't know that I host an online radio show. So I tapped in and sent it to them, and I got some text messages from them as we were doing the show. So salute to y'all. Salute to the people that watch the sports bar.
I'll save everybody the speculation. The text messages say, "Get rid of this honky. He's dead weight."
He like King Curtis, yeah. He like King Curtis, yeah. Even if he was the Don Mafia trying to off somebody as he was getting his audio fixed. So to the listeners, watchers, and viewers of WTF Nation Radio, salute. Thank y'all for tuning in to us on the first Sunday here in 2023. We have one, possibly two more shows that we're going to have coming at y'all. So make sure that you're tuned in. If you're not following the Sports Bar on Facebook, follow the Sports Bar. We're looking at being pretty active over there, even while WTF Nation Radio takes their 2-week holiday break. And to everybody else, thank you. If you hadn't hit that like button, mash that like button. Coach, close us out.
Ladies and gentlemen, just remind yourselves during this time of holidays that every Jet fan has been wishing and begging for Santa Claus to bring them a quarterback on Christmas Day. Please do your turn and donate your best quarterback to the New York Jets this holiday season. Paid for you by all New York Jet fans within the United States of America. And God bless you.
All right. Hey, that has been our show today. I'm going to give a roll, Tide, roll. And close out the show because it's what I can do. You got something to say?
Every time Roll Tide is said, a brother kisses his sister.
All right, y'all. From us at WTF Nation Radio, I am King. That is Coach. I give you a salute. We are out. Peace.
Peace.